Hello, Gata. Welcome and thank you for joining Lawrence and myself right here on Sports Scene. Look, we've had footy, a lot of footy over the weekend.
Yeah, look, I got to say, Port Moresby and Leigh had the PNG NRLC games on, and I'm sure it was really good for people to go out and start watching some rugby league. I must say a very big thank you to Hannah's Beauty Box for just cleaning me up, just making me look good.
Cleaning him up.
Auntie Anna and everyone else there. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Now tell me, did you check out the NRL game? Your favorite team, Brisbane Broncos?
Dini, we're in Papua New Guinea, so
5 or 6.
Look, we're in Papua New Guinea, so don't worry. Let's not worry about the NRL. But look, Brisbane Broncos aren't doing too well. Yeah. Let me just get that off my chest, just for everyone else. But look, 6 in a row they've lost. We're playing the Bulldogs this weekend. We'll see how we go. No matter what, Brisbane Broncos, no matter what, we are gonna stay. We're gonna stay with the team, no matter what. Okay,
so I do wish you and your team all the best.
Do you really mean that?
Yes. Same story, different week, but regardless, I wish you all the best.
Wow.
All right?
Thank you so much.
All right, so on the show, we review round 1 of Digicel Cup that happened over the weekend. And our NCD Rugby Union President Cybele Druma speaks of a way forward for them. And we check out weightlifters Dika, Toua and Morea current training arrangements. All right, so Lawrence, what do we have for the scoreline?
Yep, the scoreline, it was a massive weekend in the NRL. Melbourne Storms beat the Roosters in Golden Point, 27 points to 25. Actually, Cameron Smith did a penalty to win the game there. The Raiders beat the Dragons, 22 points to 16. The Parramatta Eels, they were very strong against the Cowboys, 42 points to 4. The Sharks were really good against the Titans, 40 points to 10. And on Saturday night last week, I don't want to say it, but there they are. The Brisbane Broncos, 16. Warriors, 26. The Panthers, 19. Cleary was too good in this game, beating the West Tigers on 12. Newcastle Knights, all right, controversial game, this one. They won 14 points to 12. Fanua Blake got sent off after the full-time match. And the Rabbitohs beat the Bulldogs 26 points to 10. All right, let's have a look at the round 1 of the Digicel Cup. Here it is. The Gurias, 30 points to 10. And the Dabaris, 18 points to the Gulf Isos, 8. All right, Hella Wigman, number 12 points against the Kimber Cutters on 8. The Vipers, they drew against the Miocs. I thought the Vipers would win. They drew 10-10. Over in Leigh Snacks Tigers, the champion team there, 28 beat Tumbe 8. And the Moruks 22 beat the Lahanis on 10. I got to say, Denny, the Vipers, I thought, the caliber of the team they had, a 10-10 draw, Roger Laka would have been really happy with a draw.
Yeah, and he was saying when we spoke to him after the match, he was saying one is better than nothing because this was an experienced side they went up against. Then to draw with them, that's a really good result for the Engamioks.
Look, I think the Rabaul Gurias is a team obviously to watch out for. They had a commanding win against Mount Hagen Eagles. Absolutely. And the Leigh Snacks Tigers. I mean, we got to give it up to them. They beat Wagi Tumbe. All right, let's take a look at the round 1 recap of the Digicel Cup.
The Egmac Rabaul Gurias proved their dominance opening the season with a 30-10 win over the Mount Hagen Eagles.
He moves in, strikes it, and looking good from up here. And it's there.
A win is a win. We are happy that we got the win. But at the back of the win, we still got some areas to work on. I think Allen and Watson, they pick up the combination well. With this inclusion, it's a bonus for the team. As a club, I think he's been doing well in training. And today that's his first game debut for the Gurias. He's doing well. I hope he'll pick up from time to time.
It's not a discouragement. I'm encouraging me to work hard on the place. So it's good. So me, time you lose one play, you have to work hard. So when a mistake be, you learn from there and then you work hard for it. All halfbacks to learn them their inexperience. It's more good Lord play more play against on kind line of Mazeb was than Watson or Maggie. From there they gain experience. When you want to become a good half-back five, you play like these guys and you train out like these guys. You handle the pressure of game kind of thing.
Gulf Iso, on the other hand, succumbed to a better Central Dabari side, losing 18 points to 6.
Number 6 has gone over to score the first try.
Good start, but it's an 80-minute football game, so I wasn't too, disappointed. I thought it was good to get the first one out of the way, and the Dabari played well too. So there's a lot of good things that we can take from it, and areas that we can work on also. So it's good to get the score. Wasn't a blowout or anything. We held on and showed what we're capable of. So we'll definitely go back and work on those things in the next week. We've got to work a little bit better, as I said before, with our ball handling and just decision making around certain areas, as well as be a little bit more tidy around the ruck. I think we were beaten by the bigger forwards going through the middle and didn't execute the technique a little bit. We can do a little bit more better, which we'll definitely visit during the week.
It's good to get the first one off our chest, but we bombed a lot of tries. That, like you said, comes back to scrappy stuff. No football for a while, so we've got 3 guys that I'm trying to try out in the halves. I rested one today in Jerry Teme. I'll give him a run against the Snakes Tigers next week. So probably after week 2 we should know our status with our halves. Yeah.
And NCDC Pom Vipers did not use their home ground advantage as planned, drawing with Enga Mioks 10 apiece. Mioks, on the other hand, were more than happy that they held their own against a more experienced side.
One is better than nothing. So, I think given the experience that the Vipers had over us, we feel it for new local boys today. They made a debut, and as a team, they just stood up for each other. That's what they want to see. Basically, our game plan was just putting up a defense, good defense, showing up for each other, backing each other up, and it showed at the back end of the time against the wind, and the boys were able to dig deep and defend really hard. We saw their lineup; they got a very good squad, experienced players. Again, we just stuck to our game plan. Yeah, just playing as a team, everyone doing the little things right, sweating our guts off inside the field, and it showed off at the end of the game.
We were expecting the boys to do well today, knowing we had the experience with us, and also this is our home ground. Looking at the game today, I think the boys at the game, but I think we dropped a lot of balls today. We need to improve on that area. Basically, the drop balls. I think the boys were rushing, the big rushing plays. We expect them to, control the halves, control and looking at the experience within the ruck. We had Ase there. Our expectations were high on him to control and manage the game, but it was not there. So probably within the week we'll do more on that.
Hela Wigman, for one, came out on top against the Kimber Cutters with a 12-4 win.
But we're joining in the line. The defense holding, but I think they've gone over the corner there. Good numbers again. That Gitmo crosses the line. Too easy.
And Leyland Ground saw Wagetumbes losing to Ley Tigers 28 points to 8, and Mandy Moroks recording a 22-10 win over the Bintagor Lahanis.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all the winners of round number 1. We'll see who gets round 2 in the Digicel Cup. Be sure to stick around. Up next, NCD RU President Cybele Druma joins us here in studio. Welcome back to Sports In. Now at this point in time, a lot of sporting bodies are picking up from where they left off when we went into lockdown and later the COVID-19 state of emergency. Joining us here tonight in the studio is Cybele Druma, the president of the NCD Rugby Football Union. Hey, Cybele.
Hi.
How are you doing? How's things?
Good, thank you. Really good. We're just glad to, be able to get the show back on the road.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
where was NCDRFU when the lockdown and SOE happened? That probably added up to about 3 months.
Yes. Okay, so, prior to the SOE, we just launched our handbook. And that was quite a big, feat for us. Not a lot of associations have a handbook. So, for us, it was important that we had that. It's in terms of, being able to manage our games and disputes, and also getting everybody on the same, wavelength as to what was expected in terms of behaviour and, things like that. So, so that was a big one, the launch of the handbook. And then we also were going to increase our women's comp as well too. So, basically, before the lockdown, we had 49 teams. All locked in, ready to play. And that was an increase of about 6 teams. Last year we were at 43, 43 teams, 44 teams, and then this year we were going to have 49 teams. So that was another major, a big boost in terms of our numbers, yes.
All right.
Just moving forward, Cybele, you've put your plans or your COVID-19 plan to the controller, and what steps are there, and when do we see NCDRFU get back onto the field? Okay,
so basically what happened was that PNGRU, which is the national governing body, is the one who was responsible, is the body that's responsible for the submissions to the controller, and so they were the ones who set up the guidelines in terms of return to play protocols, and so we were all set to go with that, and basically the 2 key things that are required of rugby union before it can commence its season is one is that all the clubs must submit player databases. This is to help with contract tracing in case of any cases that arise. And the second one is for all the coaches of clubs, of teams, to undertake the World Rugby COVID-19 test. So basically it's a test which will help all the coaches understand, because they're the ones who are directly involved with the players, so it just gives them the guidelines and making sure that they understand what's required of them when they're so these coaches can pretty much go online. That's right. And just sign up and do the do the examination, for example, and a certificate will come out to say that you've been accredited as a COVID-19 coach, sort of thing. Correct, yes.
Okay. Right now, in light of the pandemic, what are some measures NCDRFU will be putting in place to mitigate the risk when you actually do field players? Okay, so we've basically taken on what World Rugby, the measures and guidelines that they have set out, and basically on entry. So basically we're going to be looking at venue, and because our current in terms of social distancing requirements for sports right now, the measures are that you can only have 100 packs congregate in one area. So basically there'll be no supporters this year. We won't have any supporters at our matches. We're thinking of just having 2 teams on the field playing, and while they're playing, then 2 teams in the warm-up zones. And then everybody outside, and we'll just rotate as we go per match. In terms of the entry to the venue, we're looking at temperature checks on entry, and also just the sanitizing of the hands. Obviously there'll be other things that we will look at, but right now those are what we're discussing. All
right, Cybele, I think we'll wrap things up, but before we do you have a certain date that you think NCDRFU will sort of kick off, that you can be able to tell the viewers this evening?
Sure. So basically we've been given the go-ahead by the controller to, for all rugby union competitions to commence on the 6th of July, and NCDRU is looking at starting its competition on the 11th. Obviously the training time and preparation time is going to be, quite short, but we know that, there's just so much, people are just impatient. They just want to get on the field, so we're just going to kick it off on the 11th of July.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Cybele, for coming in. And, you know, on behalf of all of us here at Sports Scene, best wishes for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. Look, it's been 6 weeks of utilizing gym in a box for training, and so far it has been going well. This was the sentiment shared by PNG weightlifters Dika, Toua and Morea, who called off training at the Oceania Weightlifting Institute in New Caledonia and returned home due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A training session for them usually starts at around 4 in the afternoons. Following the arrival of all athletes and aspiring athletes, the session usually begins with a prayer. And then the session is on. While going through their training sets, their mere presence pushes the pace at which the younger lifters follow. One great thing about this sport, while it's an individual sport, the trainings mostly are a team effort.
Come on!
Starting with the stretches and then the squats and eventually the lifts, you'll notice they keep adding the weights as momentum builds. Dika admits being in quarantine in New Caledonia and again upon arrival here in the country actually threw her off her peak and she had to pick up again.
We train every day except for Sundays and we train 2 hours depending on what the exercises are, and also depending on, you can see behind me we've got athletes who are training with us. Most of them have represented, most of them are new, but we've established this setup thanks to Mr. Kilamala, who has provided us, or who is facilitating us with this with his gym. Normally back at the institute we train twice a day or 3 times a day. We put in 2 hours each session, but as for this training that we're doing now during the lockdown or the COVID-19 period, we've been training once, but the amount of work that we put in is can be equal to 2 training sessions or 3 training sessions.
Being the 2 top athletes in the region in the categories, these sessions come with an added responsibility of mentoring younger lifters as well.
We're very glad that we've got these kids whom we've called since our return. They've been really helping us, and you know, training together gives us that moral and that boost to. It's not just for us but for them as well, because you know, I don't know if they do train like this when we are overseas, but since we've come back, they've joined in our programs, and it's really good, and we've been seeing great improvements in each of them. So although even the beginners as well, although they've just started, some of them just 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Morea, on the other hand, had welcomed the quarantine period, as for any athlete, rest and recovery is also an important part of training.
Yeah, back in New Caledonia, we had like 6 weeks quarantine. So in New Caledonia we were okay. We were not allowed to go out, only once in a week, just to buy our shopping for the week. And to me it's good because we had to concentrate on our training for that 6 weeks. And it was very helpful in that quarantine, because we had to stay in the quarantine for 2 weeks. We couldn't train, so it's a good thing in another way, because it helps us to recover from what we were doing in New Caledonia, because the training there was really intense. Yeah. So right now we're trying to get back to our forms, and then we try and go to our peaks so that we can be ready for the next games. Yeah.
While COVID-19 pandemic forced them out of training camp, the Oceania Weightlifting Federation has already involved these athletes in at least 2 tournaments, while accommodating to the new normal, of course.
Oceania Weightlifting Institute or Oceania Weightlifting Federation has come up with 2 different competitions which will keep athletes training and focusing on the Olympic Games, especially the Olympians or athletes who are aimed to go to the Olympic Games. So we have a league tournament which is country against country. So it will be a round robin for about 6 months. And then, and we have another email tournament which is on the 24th and then the 25th. So the league tournament will be 7 women and 7 men put together, making up a team. And this first competition will be competing against Fiji. So hopefully the kids do a good job, and we're positive, and we believe that the kids will do great and we will score some good points. But that's on the 17th and the 18th, and on the 24th and the 25th will be the Illico email tournament. So it will be individual athletes who will be competing around the world. So.
And Morea says they will try to push themselves to record some great weights.
Right now we have 2 weeks to go, so we're trying to get back, not to our peak, but because 2 weeks is not much like in weightlifting. But we have to try and at least put another kilo on what we did on our last heavy session.
For now, the younger lifters are in for some first-hand tips from the region's top lifters, Dika and Morea, while they both await the borders to open up so they can return to camp this time in Melbourne.
Welcome back. You're watching Sports Scene. PNG RFL lost life member Donald Fox, who sadly passed away at the age of 78 last Friday after battling leukemia for months. He first came to PNG in 1966 as an accountant, and his illustrious involvement with PNG Rugby League began the same year when he joined the Magani Badili Rugby League Club in Pom as a goal-kicking front rower. He served in various other capacities, including being the inaugural chairman of Toyota NRL, later the chairman of PNG National Rugby League and chairman of PNG RFL, and as an independent director until his passing. On May 13, 2019, Donald was awarded life membership of the PNG RFL in Port Moresby. He even joined Colts Cricket Club in Port Moresby also in his first year in PNG, and he represented both POM and PNG on numerous occasions. He will be deeply missed by those in the sporting circles. Lawrence?
Yeah, no, very big sad condolences to Don Fox and the family there. And on behalf of all of us here at Sports Scene, we do pass our condolences. Now, this weekend, the NRL, starting off tonight, a massive game for the North Queensland Cowboys. They're going to be playing against the Sydney Roosters. It's going to be a tough assignment for them, but we'll see how they go. Friday night, we've got the Titans versus the Warriors. Okay, and the second game on Friday, South Sydney Rabbitohs. Papsi Wayne Bennett and his crew will take on West Tigers. On Saturday, Penrith Panthers will take on Cronulla Sharks. The Brisbane Broncos better win. They better win against Canterbury Bulldogs. And the last game on Saturday is the Canberra Raiders will play in Canberra against the Melbourne Storms. On Sunday, a really good game here. Newcastle Knights beating Manly last week. This will test whether they're a really strong team or not in the NRL. They play against Parramatta, and St. George Dragons take on Manly Sea Eagles. All right, those are the NRL matches for Telstra. Now to the Digicel Cup round number 2. All right, there's 2 games only on Saturday. These games are Goroka Lahanis taking on the Vipers, Port Moresby Vipers, and Kimbe Cutters will take on Wagi Tumbe on Saturday. The rest of the games will be played on Sunday. The Miocs take on the Wigmen. Central Dabaris take on Lacenacks Tigers. PRK Gulf ISO versus the Agmark Gurias, and Mount Hagen Eagles versus the Morocks. And I've just got word in that the Port Moresby Netball Association will have its AGM this Saturday, and new executives will be voted in. And yeah, I'm sure it'll be one that we will follow through on and report next Thursday for that show.
Absolutely. Look, if you've just joined us, unfortunately, this is the last segment on the show, but don't worry. You can visit the EMTV online website and check on the programs for Sports In episode 12 to view the show, or check out our Sports In Facebook page and you'll find a link to this episode as well. Now, Lawrence, how do they get in touch with us?
Yeah, please contact us through the MTV office, PO Box 443, Level 2, Garden City, Angao Drive, or you can call us on 312-9200 or email us sports@mtv.com.pg. Please go and visit our Sports Scene Facebook page, like it, and get all the information you need there.
All right, so you contact us if you have a story tip or anything in regards to sports or the SOE period, coming out of the SOE, going forward, a new normal, what's happening in your competition or your team or you as an individual athlete, what's the way forward. Do contact us on those details and let us know. So this is where we wrap things up. Do join us same time, same place next week. I'm Dinos Raiko.
Yep, and I'm Lawrence Lahari. Have a fantastic evening.
Coming up next week.